This is Cara Kenney. This is my idea for a flipped lesson using our Sadlier Phonics program. My experience with flipped learning so far. So, in terms of flipped learning, I have created flipped lessons and I've shared them through both Seesaw and Google Classroom this year. Primarily, my videos this year included doing a book introduction and a picture walk of a leveled text that I wanted the students to read at home, and then we would explore more on their next in-person day. I think that this year, I saw flipped learning as a way to deal with the hybrid learning that was forced upon us. But as I have used the method and learned more about it, I really believe that using an in-class flip during my literacy intervention time could really redefine the way that I'm able to work with students in terms of both active learning and feedback. All of the teachers in RSU 22 completed a 10-hour training by John Bergman through FL Global that was exceptional. I believe that from my student population, it's difficult to have them complete video lessons at home due to their age and lack of resources at home. This year, we provided technology and hotspots for students to bring home, but it was still difficult to get everyone to take the time to watch and respond to the videos. My reflections on the reading. I thought that MJ Mercanti Anthony made a good point about flipped learning not always having to be a video. You could record your voice over a picture or a series of slides. This could be a nice way to keep the way that you reach your students individualized and fresh and keep them engaged with different modes of presenting information. I also found the linked article about individualized rotation to be a very interesting idea. I could see this approach working very well in an elementary setting where some students might be able to select from a number of available centers or stations. Students needing remediation might have a different set of choices than students needing enrichment, with some overlap, of course. This would be a way to help with personal interests, learning styles, as well as academic needs. I also enjoyed the video done by Allison Dubet about using the in-class flip in the first grade classroom. A few points that she made that resonated with me were that you can avoid repeating directions if you have done a video to introduce an activity, because the students can watch it again. I also like the idea that creating these videos frees her up to work more closely with her students, and the power of using her morning work time to individualize learning. This was one of the few videos that I'd seen that really spoke to my learners and my age level, and I thought it was very interesting. When I think about using flipped classroom to drive instruction by student need, I think this is similar to letting student interest drive the instruction. I know it's not exactly the same, but when I see a struggling student relax and enjoy learning because it's more developmentally appropriate, I think this makes them feel empowered. My idea for a flipped learning lesson. As you may remember from my pre-planning presentation, my final project will involve creating a flipped phonics lesson for my third grade students to use next year. Primarily, my purpose for these lessons is to differentiate and to maximize my time with the students. In taking John Bergman's course this year, one of the biggest impressions he made on me was that there's definitely importance in the type of videos you create and how you create them, but there's even more power in what you do with the class time that using the flipped classroom model can allow. My plan is that my students will watch these videos during their small group time with me. There are many other possibilities for using this, including the classroom teacher using them for differentiation. But for this project, I'm going to focus on creating videos that I can use since I can control all the variables. This flipped lesson is going to enhance my teaching in several ways. One, it's going to allow for differentiated teaching. Creating these videos will allow me to differentiate the phonics skills that my students are working on based on individual data. Even within a small group of kids with a similar need, every kid learns in a different way. So having a video where a child can do some reteaching and other kids can move on at their own pace is very powerful for giving kids just what they need. Another thing that will be nice about using these flipped lessons is that it will allow my students multiple ways to show their knowledge. After the students have watched the video, they'll have an ability to choose from a variety of different ways that they can respond to the learning to show what they know. And most importantly, more time to spend using the skills in an active way. Having students watch a lesson and respond to phonics work during our lesson time will allow me to work on the more important task of using these phonics skills to actually read. If two of my students are working on a phonics lesson, I can spend those 10 minutes reading with the other two kids, and then we can switch. The smaller the group of students doing the active reading, the better and more individual my feedback can be. Also, this will allow for more student choice and a better match of the text to the child's interests. Then I can review the phonics learning after the students have gone home to prepare for my next lesson. So here's a sample lesson that I created. It's a Seesaw phonics lesson on the long vowel. Good morning, readers. Today I want you to have a sorting box paper ready. So go ahead and get that. If you need to pause the video, you can pause and get that ready. Today we're going to work a little bit more on the long sound of A. And if you can remember from our lesson yesterday, the long sound of A is A. And there are several different ways that we can spell the sound A. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at these words and we're going to look for the patterns that make the sound of A. So I see one right here. In this word, I see the EA pattern. Sometimes EA can make the sound A. Put that in one of your boxes on your sorting page. I see another right here. I see AY. AY can also make the long sound of A. Go ahead and add that on one of your other sorting boxes. I'm going to add another box. Another pattern that I see that we talked about yesterday is AI. A and I, when they're side by side, they can say the sound A. And the last one is a tricky one. It has some letters that just don't make sense at all. E, I, G, H. That's one we just have to remember. It reminds me of the number 8. All right, so these are our 4 patterns that we're going to use today to separate out these words into different groups. We're going to sort these out. We have EA, we have AY, AI, and we have EIGH. And all of these make the A sound. Today, what I'd like you to do is sort these words into your sorting boxes. When you're done, you can either take a picture of your paper when it's finished, or if you want to, make a video for me and record yourself reading these words. Remember, you can decode them using these patterns. Thank you, boys and girls. All right, so that wasn't a perfect lesson. I saw some mix-ups. I hit the minus button instead of the plus button. But I think one of the things that I've learned about making these lessons is that they're going to be just like your regular teaching. They're not going to be perfect. And if I'm going to do a bunch of these, I'm not going to have time to make them all perfect. So I'm going to leave it that way. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your feedback.